So, if you guys are listening to this podcast, it's all because of Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain why. First, it's free. Second, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thanks, and enjoy the show. Welcome to the Gaming Dads Academy podcast, a podcast for dads by dads. On this podcast, we talk about some of our favorite games along with some gaming-related news and our life as dads. Here with me today are my co-hosts Seth and Tim. So my name's Jesse. I have 3 kids. I am married. I am mostly a console player. I have always wanted to play a PC, just can never afford it. Mostly Xbox. That's my console of choice is an Xbox. I do have a PS4, but that's just basically what I play. My interest in games are mostly first-person shooters and RPGs, that kind of thing. But I'll basically play anything that is, fun. So, want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Seth. 37 years old. I'm an old school gamer. Grew up with Nintendo, and I mostly play on PC these days. I like just about anything except for MOBAs. I can't seem to get into those for some reason. But I really like RPGs, first person shooters, that kind of stuff. We'll get into the nitty gritty of what we play a little bit later. But Tim, I'll let you go ahead.
Sweet. So what's up, guys? I'm Tim. I'm 20. How old am I? Oh, I'm 26. Hey, man, time flies. You forget how old you are. So I'm 20, right? So I'm 26. I have my beautiful wife and then two daughters. So hashtag girl dad over here. Gotta love that. That's right. So, Seth, I have to agree with you. I cannot stand MOBAs, and we'll probably get a lot of hate for it, but I cannot stand MOBAs.
Unsubscribe.
Right. That's right. Already episode 1, mainly play first person shooters. So, been grinding on Warzone quite a bit. Still love Apex, that kind of thing. But yeah, so, and I'm in the car business, so I'm not playing video games or being a girl dad. So yeah, that's what I'm about. Oh, and I play on the Master Race with PC.
Yes, PCMR.
That's right.
All day. So we got one console guy with us. He's gonna have to deal with our snobbiness sometimes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
You definitely went a little bit more into your life than we did. And I feel like I undershared.
No, I'm so sorry.
I'm not gonna make up for it. I'm just gonna point out that I undershared.
Sorry.
No worries. No, I play such an eclectic cross hatch of games. Like I'm playing Warzone on PC right now. Playing Animal Crossing on my Switch. Every once in a while I'll play like Subnautica games, stuff like that. And I actually just started playing a game called 1990X on my laptop. It's really interesting. It's basically like it's like a novel, a visual novel where you listen to like a story segment and then you play a recreation of an old 80s style arcade game, like an old racing kind of game or like an old Shinobi style game, like a shoot 'em up kind of game. And it's just like all these different genres mixed into this one story. It's a pretty short game. You can't even save and reload. It's just you do it in one sitting. So I started playing that. It was actually really interesting. But
that's cool.
I play all different kinds of games. So,
dude, Animal Crossing is blowing up,
it's
and
everywhere.
I'm like half tempted to look into it because I do have a Switch, even though I mainly play Master Race or PC. I do have a Switch, but dude, it's like my Twitter feed is nothing.
That's all I see.
But Animal Crossing, right? It's like everybody's coming out of the woodwork about this Animal Crossing. How is it?
It's fun. Like this is the first Animal Crossing I've ever played, and kind of like you, just the hype and everything. YouTube's full of it, Twitter, everywhere, Facebook, it's all over the place. So I'm just like, all right, fine, I'll play it. And you don't like it's fun. Don't get me wrong, but you don't do anything.
It's kind of like a mindless game,
it's a life sim.
like right?
Yeah, basically. So you get your house. You start off with the tent in this one, and then You go and you gather some resources. There's a crafting element to this one that I guess is new. I wouldn't know because I never played the other ones. But
Okay.
basically, the goal is to the first goal is to pay off your debt, and you have to spend like 60,000. They call them bells for a tent. It's ridiculous. So you have to pay that off, and then you
Prices are steep in Animal Crossing.
Right? You upgrade your house, and that's another $100,000. And you upgrade and you add a room. And that one room is like $200,000, and it just keeps going up and up and up. But basically, the idea is to build that, pay that off, and build the town. And
so it's kind of like a cartoon Sims. Not that Sims isn't like a cartoon, but obviously it's a little bit more realistic.
Well, the neat thing about this game, which I actually really like, because I don't like feeling rushed. I'm going to say something really controversial. I did not care for XCOM 2 because of the turn limits. I hate being rushed when I'm playing. I want to play at my pace, and I'm an old man. I like to play slowly. So Animal Crossing actually plays on a 1-for-1 clock. So if it's 7:32 in real life, it's 7:32 in the game.
I got you.
And so you have literally all day to do
what you have to do.
Yeah, the game is really designed to be played a little bit at a time. So it's not one of those pick up and play it all day kind of games. You're going to get bored if that's what you do, because it's designed to be played a little bit at a time. Every day, new stuff happens. Small stuff, but still new stuff. And so, there's no rush. Take your time. If you want to just fish, you can fish, and you don't have to worry about rushing to the next thing. So it's very relaxing, and it's actually a great game to have during this period of quarantine, because we got a ton of free time on our hands right now. Or at least most of us do.
Well, and that's what I was just about to say. With everybody, almost everybody, other than essential personnel on lockdown, I'm sure people are itching to go out and fish, and they're like, "Well, I'll just take my Animal Crossing character to the lake and see what's biting." You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
You can travel. You can't travel in real life. You can travel in Animal Crossing right now.
Yeah, that's true, man, dude. That's sad. You can't travel right now, but you can in a video game. Jesse, have you gotten a chance to play Animal Crossing? Is Jesse here?
I don't know.
That's so funny. Where did he go?
I don't know. Episode 1, the host is gone. So
the host dips out on episode 1.
There he is.
Oh, we're back. There you go. What happened to you, man?
I think it's because I was looking at the whatever you call it. I forgot what it's called. The agenda. I was looking at the agenda, and it probably wasn't picking up my audio for a minute.
Oh yeah, maybe if you minimize it, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, no, I have not played Animal Crossing. I haven't looked up anything about it. I don't even have a Switch. I've been really wanting one, especially since Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the Black Order came out. That's what I want one for, but I still have not bought one yet. So,
dude, they're hard to come by right now. Yeah, with this quarantine, you won't be able to find one. Guarantee it.
Like hotcakes.
We're talking about buying one for our son for Mario Kart and stuff like that, because he plays the Mario Kart game on my phone, and he's pretty good at it. So we're thinking about buying the Switch, and we just never pulled the trigger on it, which I highly regret now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I live in a small town, and I actually bought one on release. So I called up my local Walmart when they were coming out, and I'm like, "Hey, you guys gonna have any Switches? Because if you do, I'm gonna be there at midnight to pick one up." And I was like, "You should probably just come now if you want one." It was like 8:00 on the night before they released. So I went down there. There's actually somebody already there. I get in line, and I find out they only have 4 Switches. They got 4 Switches for release day.
Oh,
so
wow.
I get there. There's somebody already else there, and then 2 more people come up behind me, and then all night it's just watching people come in, talk about it, say, "Hey, they've only got 4." Get disappointed and leave. Like that was all night. They come in, get disappointed and leave, and then we finally got them, and it was great. And they played Breath of the Wild for like 2 hours before I went to bed at like 3:00 in the morning, and I had to go to work the next day. It was wonderful.
So how long did you camp out?
I was at my Walmart for about 4.5 hours before I finally got my hands on it.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't too long.
So I'm picturing like 8:00 at night. You're out there with your tent, hot chocolate.
No.
Like, cool.
Small town. This is a town of like 9,500 people. So there's not that many gamers here, fortunately, which is probably why they only got 4. But
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I just got my Switch it was for my daughter, but more of like a family
Right.
present for
Yeah.
Christmas. And dude, I have to say, Mario Kart is such a throwback.
So
Now,
good.
I wasn't a big Nintendo kid growing up. I've been playing PC since I was probably 8 years old. But I do have some Mario Kart like under my belt, obviously from friends' houses and
Hmm.
stuff like that. And dude, Mario Kart is where it's
It's
at.
so
That and
fun.
Smash
Yeah.
Bros. Mhm.
Smash Bros.
Now,
Yep.
I don't think anyone has ever gone out without playing Mario Kart or some kind of Mario game at least once in their lifetime.
Oh, for sure. And
I mean,
then
Sean knew a friend that had a 64, or someone had a Mario game that we all just played.
absolutely. And then now as a dad, you're teaching your kid, in my case, my 7-year-old daughter, how to play Mario Kart and
Yep.
what the shells do and the mushrooms and whatever. And then Smash Bros is really funny because you can, obviously being a dad, you dial it back and let them get their punches in, and then they start getting cocky and you're like, okay,
Got so much
watch
fun.
this. Hold on one second. Like, this is my house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, see, my son's not old enough for me to do that with him quite yet. He's only 4. He's gonna be 5 this year. But dude, I mean, he kills it on like the phone games, like
Yeah.
Hello Neighbor and all that stuff. Like, I don't even know how to play these games, and he's already beaten the game. And I was like, dude, how the hell are you doing this? And it's just from the YouTube videos he watches, dude.
Right.
It's like watching me as a child all over again.
No, I got my kid
it's
in
funny,
on
man.
he's playing the Paw Patrol game. He's 3. He does pretty good for being 3. I mean, it's pretty basic. You just go left to right and you jump, but he's getting it down. But Mario Kart's great for him because it has the auto steer and the auto accelerate. So I can play
Yeah.
with him even though he's not really playing. He still feels like he's playing a game with me, and he loves that.
Yeah.
Yeah. On Forza, I used to. My son used to watch me play Forza, and he would want to play it. So what I do is I put all the settings down to minimalist. Like, it auto steers, it like stays on the track for you, it
Mhm.
follows the line. So he would just hold the trigger, and he'd just go, and that would keep him occupied for a good like half
Yeah,
hour.
I love that they started
Until he
adding
re-
that kind of stuff to games because it just makes it so you can get your kids playing so much younger. Like, he's 3. My kid's
Yeah.
3 years old, and he's playing Mario Kart with me, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't wait till my son old enough to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because there's obviously like a stigma around like kids and technology and, kids are getting smartphones so
Right.
young and video games and, whatnot. But like, I remember I was probably, I want to say like 9 or 10 years old playing. Would you guys remember Wolfenstein?
Yes, Wolfenstein 3D.
I
Yeah.
remember.
So
Yes.
fun.
So I was probably like, it's hard to tell. I want to say like 8 to 10 years old, like a little
Yep.
kid. You know what I mean? Playing Wolfenstein with my dad, like on the computer.
Yep.
And so like that, you're right. It is nice that they have those settings. I was just playing Mario Kart yesterday with my daughter and I'm like, and she's just crashing into the wall. And I'm like, Aaliyah, get off the wall. Like turn. And she's like, I am. Like, I don't know what's going on. Well, I didn't realize she had turned tilt on the Switch. So she's like tilting the controller to the right, but holding the joystick to the left. But once we got that fixed, she was good. But yeah, no, it is nice because, and it you can include them, so that's for sure good.
Yeah, it's
thing
always
to
fun
have.
when you could do that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what is probably like the number one game that you guys are playing right now?
Right now, it's Warzone, definitely.
Yeah, I would say that's taking up most of my time is Warzone.
Well, it's funny because I've never
Mhm.
really been much of a competitive shooter. Kind of like I don't play a lot of online games generally, but a couple weeks ago, my buddy was just like, "Hey, I'm on Warzone. Get on, let's play." I'm like, "All right, fine, whatever." I don't play these kinds of games. I tried Fortnite. I hate Fortnite. I tried PUBG. I hate PUBG.
Yeah.
I tried Apex. That was the best out of the 3, but the whole battle royale idea just kind of irritates me. So I got in with him anyway. I'm like, all right, let's do this. And we start playing Plunder. And I freaking love Plunder. That's fun. Because I'm not running around for half an hour doing nothing and then die without seeing anybody. I get to keep spawning back in and participating. So I love Plunder. The rest of it can be the battle royale part can just F off.
See, like I'm the exact opposite. Like, I think I've played 2 games of Plunder, and I get it. Like that, the whole battle royale thing. That's what frustrates my wife so much. Is she's like, you wait 4 or 5 minutes to get into a game, land, get all this loot, and then potentially die, and like you haven't done anything. But I just didn't like Plunder. Maybe it's just because I haven't played enough to like really get into the meta of it and kind of the strategy. But I definitely am leaning more towards the battle royale. But I did like Fortnite. Like I played Fortnite from season 2 to probably season 4.
I could not stand Fortnite.
I can't either.
To get into it.
Well, and that was the thing. So I was like, man, this game is so fun, except I can't build. Like I'm so bad at building. So it'd take me, by the time I put one wall up, somebody has the Eiffel Tower in front of me, and I'm like,
that's why I quit playing.
Yeah, right. And then I switched over to Apex, and I was like, okay, this is where it's at. And then Call of Duty Black Ops 4, I think they had their blackout mode, and I feel like that was super short lived. Like that went just as quick as it came.
Yeah. Well, and I think the problem with that was didn't you have to own the base game of that one in order to get the blackout mode? And so I think that's the difference, because everything else so far from a battle royale aspect has been free, except for that. So the barrier, there was a barrier to entry that nothing else had, which is probably why I didn't hold on. But then they fixed it with Warzone.
Same thing with Firestorm from Battlefield. You only got that with the base game, and that wasn't even available at launch. You had to wait like I think 2 or 3 months after launch.
That performed so poorly. I forgot it was even a thing.
So it was like I tried to get into a match it was like a month ago, and I couldn't get into it. I was waiting for a half hour. I was like, dude, there goes a half hour of my gaming time before I got to go to bed.
Right. Yeah, and when you're an adult, like that stuff matters, you know. When you're a kid, you're like, okay, like whatever. I just have school in the morning, or it's Saturday or whatever. But like, when you're an adult and you're trying to get just a couple games in on a Wednesday night, everybody's asleep, and you're like, well, I just pissed away 30 minutes. Like now I need to go to bed.
Well, and I think that's why I don't get into battle royales as much, because my time is so much more precious. I don't want to spend it, not doing anything.
Oh yeah, I get that. Yeah.
So do either of you play with your wife?
Not really. She's not much of a gamer. Some things she'll play. Like she'll play games like Guitar Hero, or she actually is a real big Donkey Kong fan. So every once in a while I'll pull the Super Nintendo out to play that. But she doesn't really do a lot of gaming, unfortunately, which sucks, because I have like 5 computers. I got 3 gaming computers. There's plenty of stuff for her to play on. She just won't do it.
Okay, big baller.
Hey, give me one of your gaming PCs, man. Come on now.
I was playing. So I have my main PC, which is the one that I put all my spare money into. I have my cast off PC, which is the one that's built off of the cast off upgrade parts. So when I upgrade my main one, I put the old parts into the second one. So that only got built because I was upgrading. And then the laptop, I was talking to Tim about this offline. I've been traveling more. Maybe I said it on the podcast, I can't remember. I've been traveling more, so I'm a PC gamer. I wanted something to play games on while I was traveling for work. So I bought, it's a cheap laptop. It's got a 1050 Ti, so it's not like I'm going to be balling on that thing. But I needed something to play on the go. It does the trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my wife, she plays. Before we had our kids, or when they were really small, at least we would play Battlefield 4. That's when she liked to play a lot. She's not much of a gamer like Seth's wife, but she'll play Battlefield 4 every once in a while. Remember, she bought a PS4 just for Crash Bandicoot, which is why I have a PS4. And
I mean, I don't think I'm.
So, but no, man, she doesn't really play games. But yeah, it kind of sucks because I would love for her to play games. It'd be a good excuse for me to get a couple PCs going, but
Yeah.
Of all the games that I've heard people say, I bought this for this game, Crash Bandicoot has never been one of them. Especially not in like the 2000s.
What?
Maybe like the original PlayStation, maybe like the PS1, but
that is my wife's jam. Crash Bandicoot. Oh yeah, like if my wife plays on, and my wife is a pretty big PC gamer, which is awesome for me. It just gets, I know it's something that we can do together, and it's so fun. But if my wife plays a Switch, it's either Just Dance or Crash Bandicoot. Like that's it. But so my wife and I'll give you kind of like a backstory. I was in the military. My wife was from Idaho. I had met her. She was on vacation, essentially. Hung out there for a couple days. She flew back out to Idaho. It turned into a thing. We started dating. So we were doing long distance, literally across the country. So at the time, I was. Do you guys remember Team Fortress 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so Team Fortress 2, I think at this time it was free to play. So she downloaded Team Fortress 2. That was a game I was heavy into at the time, which was, a side note, a phenomenal game. But so she downloaded Team Fortress 2, and so we would play games as kind of a way to have like a little date night and like interact and that kind of thing. And so that was kind of getting her foot in the door into gaming. And then fast forward a couple of years, we lived together in Virginia. Overwatch comes out, and so I'm playing it, and she's like, "Wow, looks just like Team Fortress." And I'm like, "Yeah, essentially it's the same meta. Yeah, you're moving a payload or defending a point. Every character has abilities, whatever." So then she starts playing that, and she was hooked. So Overwatch was like her game for a long, long time, and now we were finally at a point where we just built her computer just a couple weeks ago, and it's probably been the best investment we've made. Just being able to like sit next to each other, play games. Oh yeah, no, well now she's like branching out. She plays Warzone. She's getting into Apex pretty heavy, and she hated Battle Royale games for a long time. But now, yeah, she's getting pretty good, and it's cool too. Like when you play a Battle Royale game with your wife, like Apex, if somebody knocks her, you have like this sense.
I will avenge you.
You need to, yeah, literally, yeah, exactly. I'm like, don't worry, babe. Like I'm coming, I'll protect you, And then you have like that motivation to come in and you do a whole squad wipe or whatever, and you're like, yeah. I'm that dude. You know what I mean?
Knight in shining armor is what it is.
That's exactly right. No, it's awesome, man. I am very blessed. I'm very lucky that my wife shares that passion for gaming for sure. But she didn't always. It was a long process.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Yeah. Me and my wife were actually high school sweethearts. We started dating in high school. I was a sophomore. She was a junior.
Nice.
Yeah, how did it? Oh, I was friends with her cousin, and I remember she remembers everything in high school, everything I said and did. I don't remember none of it. She brings it up all the time, and it's kind of like that thing that we always bring up to each other. It's like she remembers the first text message I ever sent her.
Wow.
I don't remember that. Yeah, and we met in high school. She was in ROP. She's the one that actually got my my interest in law enforcement, which is what I'm pushing to now. But it was all because of her, man. She tried to steer me on the right path in high school, but I was still doing my thing, and it only took us about 7 years to get me on the right path. But here I am, better late than never.
Really, man. No, yeah. I actually met my wife. So I also was in the military, National Guard, and I met my wife like the summer before I shipped out to basic training. And then we basically built our relationship. For the first 6 months of it I was in training and she was back home. And for the first 3 months of that, I didn't have any access to a cell phone until like 3 weeks. Like I think we had 3 weekends where we actually got our phones for like a half an hour. Which was actually really surprising that they even gave us that. But we weren't. Sure. So where we were training was not. So how? Where did you go to basic? By the way, Tim.
I was in Great Lakes. I was in the Navy. Okay. So the only So the only boot camp or basic training, whatever you want to call it, is in Great Lakes, Illinois. So right outside Chicago.
I went to Jackson, and they have these things that they call them starships, which is these. It's like 3 or 4 story brick buildings, and each floor is a different company, right? So there's drill sergeants and soldiers and captains and lieutenants all over the place. But where we and so they have like the PX, they have not the PX, right? The messes there, they have the chapels there and all that kind of stuff. And then so they have their phone banks for when they allow the soldiers to call out.
And for real quick, and for people that don't know, like a PX or a Nex, it's just like a military store. It's like just like either a grocery store or like kind of like a shopping mall, that kind of thing. That you
So where we were, they called it the trailer park. So they had these. It's basically what it was. It was it almost looked like they took storage containers, like the giant metal ones that you see on ships or whatever. almost like they took those, stacked them on top of each other, and made barracks inside of them. And so they were kind of lined up, almost like cornrows. So you had a line of the barracks, then they had the common area in between, and then another line of barracks. And so they kind of were split up that way. So we were not with the rest of everybody else. We were basically, our company was almost by themselves the whole time. We had one payphone to use to call out. So instead of having us all stand over there for 3 hours so everybody could get a chance, they just gave us our cell phones for like a half an hour, like every couple of weeks or something like that. We'd have to sit in our barracks, the whole platoon, so males and females were all in the same room together, and we would just be on our phones for like a half an hour calling our loved ones. And so that's really the only time I was able to talk to her during that time. And then once I got to AIT, which is my after training where I learned my job, we just had our phones all the time there. So it was nothing then. But yeah, came back, just kind of got back into it. She never got into gaming, so there was none of that. But we've been together for going on 12 years now. Yeah, 12 years now.
Dude, that's a long time, man.
Yeah. 6. We're in our 7th year of marriage right now. So we got one kid with her, and then I actually do have another son from a previous marriage. He's also a PC gamer, so I raised him right. But he spends most of his time with his mom.
There you go. That's so funny.
You know what? I'm gonna raise my son to be a gamer for all systems.
There you go.
So he'll be console and PC because I'm
a full-on gamer. I will play a game on anything if it's good. If the game is good.
Nope. But not me.
But if it comes out on PC, that's where I'm gonna buy it. So, for example, I have a PS4. I have Horizon Zero Dawn. There's rumors coming out on PC. I'm going to buy it again on PC and finish playing it on PC because 4K and 120 FPS and all those buzzwords.
all the PC goodness.
Yeah, it's all right, man. I'll just stick with my Xbox One. My second. It's good. And at least I can still get down on Warzone with you guys. That's all that matters, right?
That's right, dude. I have to say, I was just having this conversation last night with my wife and with my brother-in-law. It's so nice to see games being more cross-platform.
It is so much fun.
It is, man, because you're not limited to the restriction of like, I play on Xbox, I play on PC.
Right.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And Seth, maybe you can kind of agree or disagree. I don't know. Being a PC gamer, I have like a small group of friends back in New York that I play with pretty regularly, childhood friends. But for the most part, it's hard to find other PC gamers that you know personally.
It really is. I have a couple that have kind of helped become PC gamers, but most of the people are like local. Yeah. These are all people that don't live here. Anybody local though is just like. I'm at work. I'm like, hey, you guys play games. What do you play? Like PlayStation, Xbox, whatever. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so nice because PC, there's no arguing. It is more expensive, right? Like, if you want to get a PC that plays games at high to max settings, you're spending $650, $750 minimum. Right? And Xbox, what does an Xbox cost right now? $300?
Oh, it's brand new. I think it's like $499 for the Xbox One X with the 1 terabyte. Yeah. So
get out of. Are you kidding me?
I think if I'm not wrong, it might be a little bit less, but that's what I'm thinking.
I think they're $399 now.
Oh yeah, that might be the release. I haven't really seen any. I don't like window shopping because then I get a little bit upset if I can't buy it. So.
I think they're going around $399 now, at least on the secondary market.
If you are looking into an Xbox that's $499, there's no excuse to not get a PC.
That might just be yeah. See, I found that looked pretty cool. Like about $800, I think. I was thinking about buying.
Here's what you gotta do: go on eBay, buy like a Dell Optiplex with an i5, buy an aftermarket power supply and an RX 580 8 gig. It's about $300 for all of that right there. Boom, gaming PC.
Yeah, I mean that's true. But so where I was going with this was it's nice. Like my brother-in-laws are 12 and 15, 13 and 15. Man, if they listen to this, they're going to hate me if I have their ages wrong. So, but they're younger, right? And so they have an Xbox. No big deal. So it was so nice to be able to last night have my brother-in-law over. We were all playing Warzone, him, my wife, me, and it's like, this is awesome. Like, this is what I wish I had when I was their age. When I was in high school playing PC, and I have those 2 or 3 friends that play PC, and that was it, and everybody else is on Xbox or PlayStation.
Well, that's why I didn't sell off. I was talking about how I have 2 gaming PCs. That's why I never sold off my cast off parts. I repurposed them into another computer. That way I can invite friends over who aren't PC gamers, and we can still play games together on PC, without having to do the investment.
All right, I'm coming up.
He said, "I'm coming up." I'm on my way.
My couch is open.
Real quick.
You can crash there.
All right. Cool. All right, so I want to ask you guys, what's your guys' like all-time like favorite game that you can go back to no matter what and always just have fun?
I'll go ahead so one game that I go back to, and I mentioned this in the chat we were talking about not too long ago. One game I go back to at least once a year. I might not play it all the way through because it's long, but one game I go back to at least once a year is the original Final Fantasy VII. That's actually the game that solidified me being a gamer. Like, I played games, all kids play games, but like I sat down and played through that when I was in middle school at the time, and that game, wow, that's the one that sucked me in. And ever since then, it's like, all right, this is who I am. I'm a gamer now. Can't help it. It's I mean, the story is so good. I just got sucked into the mechanics, the materia system, the battle system, and I mean, at the time, those graphics were, well, they still kind of sucked at the time, but the FMVs though, the CGI, the cutscenes, those were impressive in 1997. Let me tell you.
Yeah, see, I remember playing a Final Fantasy game, but I just don't remember which one it was, and I hate that because it was so fun, but I just can't remember which one it was. Like, I only remember one mission. We were like on the snow mountain, and that's all I know.
Snowboarding down the snow mountain?
Like, I wish I could do this. I think we were fighting me. It was me and my stepbrother, and we were fighting somebody on the snow mountain, I think. And yeah, that was just like the funnest time I had at that time. And like thinking about it now, I can't remember which Final Fantasy it was, but I remember it being Final Fantasy. Yeah, it's one of those things that gets to you when you can't remember it.
What's yours, Tim?
I've been, like I said, I've been playing games for since I was like 7 or 8 years old, but I don't have like a staple, like, I go back and play, this game from the 90s, early 2000s. But I think the game that I've like held on to the longest is Overwatch. So, and that's just a game that if I'm playing and I get sick of Apex or I get sick of Call of Duty or, whatever game I'm playing at the time, I'll go back to Overwatch. And now, again, going back to my wife having a computer now, and now that my wife has one, I mean, she's a beast at that game. So that's the game that I feel like I've held on to the longest, just because I think I played so much Team Fortress, and I mean like hundreds of hours as a younger teenager, that that's like my jam.
Yeah, so one of mine is it's more of a series. I can't really, if I had to say, it would probably be Mass Effect 2, but the Mass Effect series is like my all-time favorite. I go back at least once a year and I play through the trilogy, and I do the whole entire trilogy again. But dude, it was just, that was like I used to always love playing Grand Theft Auto. Like, that's what got me into gaming. And then I remember my cousin had rented Mass Effect, and he said he didn't like it because it was too like sci-fi, which I popped it in when they were asleep, and I was like, dude, this game's freaking amazing. I got to go buy it. And I bought it, and I still have that copy I bought, and I never sold it. I let my friend borrow it, and I had to get it back from him because I need my physical copies. But yeah, dude, and it's a game I'm even playing again right now. I'm going through the first game still, and that's just something that, I don't know, man. It was just the story, like every decision you do has an impact in the final game, and that just really sucked me into that game.
I have to go back. I have to go back. I'm so sorry. A game just popped in my head, and I have to admit I haven't played it in a couple of years, but one game that I have played through several times, like more than I should admit, is Portal. Portal 1 and Portal 2. Dude, Oh yeah.
I need to play Portal. I've never
that's a
played
shame.
Portal.
Well, it's
I played the magazines when Xbox had magazines, or PlayStation, and they would have the disc in there that had a bunch of demos on there, and I played that Portal game on
The
one of
first
those.
Portal is good. Portal 2 is a masterpiece.
Oh, for sure. Portal 2 destroys Portal
so
1
good.
by far. And that's hard to do. Portal 1's so good. And it's hard to find a game where I can just like something so simple.
Yeah.
It's essentially just like a big puzzle, right? Like you're just playing levels of puzzles and there's a little bit of a storyline to it or whatever. But it's hard to find a game that is just essentially a puzzle that keeps you. I think Portal 1, I remember I was a young teenager, dude, and I downloaded it on Steam. I was on Christmas vacation. I think it was on sale on the Steam the Steam store. It had been out for a while. I bought it, downloaded it. I think I started it and beat it within literally one sitting. It's not
super long, but it's so good.
It's not. It's a great game. So that would be my game. And go kind of in reference to what you guys are saying.
I was looking on Facebook and I've sent this out. There was the kind of in related to your question, Jesse, that like the top five games that kind of molded you as a gamer. And so with your question, I kind of do find it hard to put it down to just one game, because I'm sure a lot of people will be thinking Final Fantasy VII. Oh, that's such a cliche answer. But I mean that was my game. But I mean, yeah. But I mean, if you go back
it's iconic,
further,
man.
like I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with this game, but I used to play a game on the Super Nintendo a lot called ActRaiser, which was it was kind of like two games in one. So there was a side-scrolling like action adventure, kind of like a Conan the Barbarian with a sword and killing demons and so forth. And then there was the second part that was almost like a SimCity. Part of the game, and so you'd build out your city until you had enough followers that you could go in and attack the demon. It was based off of like Greek mythology. A lot of these demons and stuff that you had to fight. But that game was really fun. But not a lot of people, I don't think, played it. And that's just one I wanted to bring up because it's good. Doesn't get any attention. You should play if you get a chance to get. I think it's on. It might even be on the Super Nintendo Mini, maybe. It's so good. Play it. ActRaiser.
What is it called?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
no,
good.
I've never even heard of it, man.
Yeah, never.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Mass Effect, man. That is just one of those games that like kind of brought me into gaming. I've always played games like ever since I got my first PlayStation when I was 6 or 7 with my first TV. So I've always been into games. My first video game I ever had, I think, was Grand Theft Auto 3. So I started off on some hardcore rated M games, so that's where I came from, and Mass Effect is what really got me into gaming and RPGs, because most of the time I was just used to let me put this game in and go kill people. But no, dude, Mass Effect, yeah, dude, Mass Effect, man, that like I was so immersed in that, and like I was a part of the group that didn't like the ending when 3 came out. And it's the first game I ever bought story DLC for, and I bought all the DLC for it. And it's probably the only game, if I had to, I would go back and buy a remastered version.
I'm old enough
just to have it.
DLC used to be called expansion packs.
Yeah. I take that back. I did have a Grand Theft Auto 1 like on the PlayStation 1, the black disc. And I remember I had the so-called expansion packs for that game, which was like the Liberty or London, I think, and then GTA like 1969 or whatever it was called. But I don't have many memories of those. I just remember seeing them in my collection when I was younger.
The originals on the NES with my older brother. Super Mario 3 was one that like I used to play that with him a lot. I loved it. I fell in love with Zelda, the Legend of Zelda. Never actually played the second one. It's the only one that I've not really spent a lot of time with. That one and Skyward Sword. But I was a big Zelda fan for a while. And then there was a game called Rhaegar on NES. That was a lot of fun as well. So I definitely grew up playing a lot of the older games, the 8-bit, and then the Super Nintendo. But that was more, again, with playing with my brother when he used to play video games. He doesn't really so much anymore. But I didn't become a gamer myself until like that, identified myself as a gamer, if that's what you can do. Definitely until later in life, middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you can identify yourself as anything nowadays.
A camel in the Arabian desert.
Yeah.
Were your parents like pretty strict on like what games you could play, like based on ratings and that kind of thing?
So much. Well, 'cause like I said again, when I was young, it was Nintendo games, like original Nintendo games, and there was no rating system at that time. And even really getting into the Super Nintendo, it wasn't until like the latter half that they really started to put ratings on them. Again, I'm old, so I didn't have to really deal with that kind of stuff. By the time rating systems were ubiquitous in video games, I was basically old enough that my parents weren't paying attention to the video games I was playing. So for me, it was never really an issue.
I got you.
Yeah, I think it's obvious. Yeah.
So
I think it's obvious that my parents didn't really care, considering my first game was Grand Theft Auto. So.
Yeah, well, that's what I was just about to say. I have a very vivid memory of we had a PlayStation, and I was probably 6 when the PlayStation came out. I know I'm showing my age, so I was probably like 6, maybe 7 when the PlayStation came out. Like young enough to the point where I had no idea what it was, but my older brother was amped up. So he's like 2 or 3 years older than me. So in like 1999 or 98, whenever it came out, I was like 6, right? So my brother was like 8, 9. So we got the PlayStation. I had no idea what it was. And then we got home and he's like showing me and I was like, oh, this is cool. Well, Twisted Metal. Do you guys remember that game?
Oh, yeah.
So Twisted Metal comes out, and I have a very vivid memory. So that came out in 2000. I just Googled it for this story. So it came out in 2000. So I was 6 or 7 when this game came out. And I remember waking up from a nap. Yeah, I was young enough where I was still taking naps. Come out.
I was too, man.
That's right. So I come out from a nap, and my brother's playing Twisted Metal, which at the time was rated T, and my parents had no issues with this game. And then we had Grand Theft Auto Vice City on our home computer. My brother and I would play that. Like very inappropriate games for how old I was. But then I had this Toy Story game for the PlayStation that happened to be rated T for teen. And my mom was like, "Yeah, you can't play this game."
How does that work?
I don't know.
You can go kill hookers, but you can't play.
And to her defense, I don't think she really knew anything about Grand Theft Auto or anything like that. But I think at the time, it was probably right around the time when ratings were really becoming prominent. I think it's it's on the news, like you need to watch what your kids are playing, and then so she happened to look at this Toy Story game and was like, oh no, this is rated T, like he's 6, he can't play this. You know what I mean? But that's like really the only memory I have of my parents limiting what I played.
Dude, I remember one time, so weird. I had Hitman Blood Money. And I had just got done beating it. My grandma came in the room, said, "You're not allowed to play that game anymore because it teaches kids how to kill their parents." And I was like, "Dude, I just beat this game. It didn't say nothing about killing your mom." I was like,
"Yeah,
I don't know where that."
Well, did you see how?
It's not funny. It's not funny that the kid kills his parents, but
did you see how?
Anyway,
the World Health Organization just recently was saying that they classified video game addiction as a mental illness, and now they're going out saying, "Hey, stay home, play video games because of this quarantine." So it's completely changing their stance.
We all have mental illnesses, I guess.
Yeah, I did see that article. Yeah, that's funny.
Hey man, if it's a mental illness, it's one I'd be proud to have, man. I'll tell you.
There's definitely people who take it too far, and I'm not trying to belittle that, but they were putting a pretty broad statement on what they would consider addiction, and I feel like a lot of people would fall into that category based off of the parameters that they set, and I just don't think that's actually true. I mean, video games have always been the villain until they're needed. Kind of like right now, they're just saying, "Hey, stay home, play video games, save the world." There's literally people are saying that kind of stuff, which is a complete reversal of just a few weeks ago, where it's like video games cause violence. Which that's a definitely a discussion for another day, but it's also horse hockey.
Yeah, I would definitely. I would be very, very intrigued because I wrote an essay when I was in high school about video games causing violence. We need to do an episode about that.
Oh yeah, definitely
for sure. So
that'd be a cool one to talk about right there because That's a very video games, especially violent ones, have always been
because it's
controversial.
Everybody wants to make these things black and white, and it's definitely not. I mean, for some people, sure, video games maybe they do cause them to be more violent, but that's probably because they already had violent tendencies. So, but
yeah,
it all. I've always said it always stems from parenting. That's what I believe it comes down to. So.
Yeah, I like the fact that I'm aware with regard
good.
to video games that my parents were, because I'll know to keep an eye out for some things that maybe my kids shouldn't be playing just yet. I'll definitely be more strict than my parents were, but you know, within reason, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, I think that's about all the time we have.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was pretty cool, man. You know, we learned a lot about each other. So
yeah, absolutely. And anybody who this is actually pretty funny. The people that are listening are like, "Oh, this is weird." They're like telling stories like these guys all know each other. We genuinely don't really know each other.
Yeah, we just met like a week ago.
Yep. So cool, man.
All right, guys, that was pretty cool, man. You know, I learned a lot. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. You want to go around, tell everyone where we can be found?
Oh yeah, so we can go ahead and if you just search up the Gaming Dads Academy podcast, you can find it on all major podcast outlets. You know, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter. We'll be on Instagram, I believe, fairly soon. So just search up the Gaming Dads Academy, and you'll find us. Go ahead and give us a follow. Share and like and all that good stuff. So I'll go ahead and put all the links in the description, all that good stuff, so you guys don't gotta.
And one thing I do want to say too is join our Discord. You know, it's pretty new, obviously, just like this podcast, but join our Discord. And then we'd love to get people, you know, calling in and that kind of thing on our Discord and interact, other dads, stuff like that, just kind of build up a community.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'd love to interact with the listeners. Like
absolutely,
you know.
absolutely. So yeah, Jesse, where can they find do you have personal social media?
Yeah, on Instagram, I'm going to be changing it, so don't look it up just yet. It's probably going to be something to do with the podcast name. I'll go ahead. I'll put that down in the description. It's right now, I believe it's BB6_Mars, and like I can do a backstory on that again in another episode. But you can look me up there. Facebook's just Jesse Gonzalez. You can look me up there. I don't have a Twitter. I don't even know how to use it. So
right on. Cool. Well, you guys can find me on Instagram. So it'd be at McCaurthor .tv, McCaurthor. That's my public account. It's mainly gaming, streaming videos, that kind of thing. And then Twitch and Twitter are both just at McCarthor. Same thing, McCaurthor.
Yeah, you can find me on
that's
Twitter
where you guys can find me.
At SethPC83. Instagram and Facebook are both SP Cecil. So just look for me there if you want to find what I got going on. I don't have anything Twitch-wise just yet, but stay tuned.
Yeah.
No, we'll be getting Twitch and YouTube and all that set up, so we can stream some games with you guys. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, I'll hop on if we have any console players out there. You know, I'll hop on with you guys. You guys got me on your back, so
Jesse's like, I need support, please.
Yeah, yes, please.
Cool.
I need backup over here. So if I got one thing to say, you know, the only reason why I have a console is because of Carol Baskin. She's the main reason of it all.
Are you ever going to recover?
I gotta blame it on her.
That's so funny.
That's unfortunate.
Oh, never, dude, never, man. Yeah, she really messed me up on that one.
I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it.
I finished it yesterday, and it was, oh my god, it's crazy.
Cool. I'll watch it, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on the next episode.
Yeah, maybe when you're all done, we can do a review on it or something.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. Right on, guys.
Yep. Thanks for listening.
Cool. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Stay tuned. See ya.